Welcome one and all to Cap Club Bar for today's episode of the Cap Club podcast. I'm Digital Bacon, and joining me behind the bar like he does each and every week is Tube Racker back. And
what up?
Bunny, what are you doing up there? Like, wait, where'd you get a disco ball?
Connections, of course. Connections.
Connections again.
This time, we're building a Just Dance machine.
A Just Dance machine?
Machine, yeah, it's a machine.
Are you teaching it how to dance?
Yes. Yep.
Like, and
I will show them the god moves of the bunny, and it will be amazing.
Can't wait to see the machine working up.
It's gonna be a great machine. It's gonna be a great machine.
So when the robots take over, this is the moment we look back to and blame Bunny Chew. This is it.
as long as they're all having the great moves, I don't care, dude.
They're gonna have great moves. Don't worry.
Oh, that's fine.
It's gonna be amazing.
Grooving to the end.
Oh.
To the day we die.
Anyway, that's not a bad little segue, I've got to say. Well done, Buns. As the first topic of conversation has got to be about Ubisoft's following the trend of other companies such as, you know, they've seen Activision with their success in Call of Duty Warzone. They've seen that Fortnite thing, which, I mean, everyone was talking about 2-3 years ago. And then they're thinking of it themselves and going, that free-to-play business strategy might just work. And so going forward, it looks like they're considering, and by considering, I mean they pretty much decided that...
confirmed.
Yeah, they're going to be going free to play. And it's a little bit awkward what it says, but it hints at near enough all their franchises doing this, which I don't know about you guys, but I can't, like, it doesn't make sense to me when you look at, like, Assassin's Creed. How do you go free to play with Assassin's Creed?
Mine, baby. All like Assassin's Creed.
Yeah. Crappy phone version.
Battling. Okay, so the idea is you battle to see who gets to assassinate someone. That's how this is going to work. Sounds pretty epic in my opinion.
Did you guys ever play the Assassin's Creed multiplayer back on like the PS3 and that?
No.
So,
I've only played one Assassin's Creed. It was terrible.
It was terrible.
It was great. I don't know what you're talking about. It was fantastic.
Well, just a few people walking in a small room and then you have to assassinate one of those people.
Yeah.
Oh, it was great gameplay. Definitely couldn't have improved.
So it's Overwatch tiny room, pretty much. Tiny
No, it's way.
No,
yeah,
so
yeah.
you didn't have any abilities.
It is.
And they weren't tiny. Like I'm thinking back to like Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. That sort of I can remember getting into the beta for that. But it was just great fun. But again, it was all off the back and all the surroundings that are off the real world. So I can see that being free to play. But you get Assassin's Creed for the story, don't you? You don't get it for the multiplayer. Hence why there's not the multiplayer anymore. So it feels so weird that they've gone heavily story-based recently. And now they're doing like a 180 on themselves, doesn't it?
Well, to be honest, the only game I could see it working for would be Just Dance. Just because you get a few free songs, then of course, plus it's gonna have a lot of DLC and transactions to the free-to-play games. You could buy more songs.
Yeah. They're already all doing that with Just Dance.
Yeah, I mean they're also already putting microtransactions in the new Assassin's Creed, right? Which is stupid because it's a single-player game. So like, why would you pay for that one skin if it's a single player? Like, it just seems a bit overkill. In my opinion.
I mean, the Assassin's Creed like transactions in that was more to speed up, so you don't have to grind as much. And
oh no! Valhalla added skins.
The new one that Bunny played.
It was like
kind of
completely, and like it was the coolest customizations as well. They looked so sick, but yeah, you had to pay 20 for it.
I mean, that's just stupid. Because if you look at another game they made, it released at the same time, like a month later, Phoenix Rising. It also had like DLC packs, but you could also earn them in game, like just doing challenges. And if the challenge you earn points, and with the points you could like buy a piece of the set. And if you kept playing, you could eventually get the whole set. That's just how you'd think. They'd also do it for the normal Assassin's Creed, but apparently they're like money. I mean, everyone does. They all like money, so. But still, like, it seems like the way that the other game did it, Phoenix Rising, is more user-friendly, and you also still make money out of it because people who are impatient are still gonna pay for it. Or lose the
Didn't
money for it
Phoenix
anyways.
Rising flop though? Like
Well, I mean,
it made
that's
its
something
money
else.
back, but it just didn't do well. There's not going to be a Phoenix Rising 2 probably.
Well, they did release a DLC, of course, but that doesn't take away from the point. Like, that doesn't really matter, because it was a totally new IP, new game. So of course, it's either gonna flop or it's gonna bang. You know, that's how it is. So if they would have done the same with Assassin's Creed, I don't think it would have flopped for Assassin's Creed, anyways. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It being new IP, it's always just risky. Like, same as Splatoon. It could also be a really bad IP. You look at ARMS, you know, also flopped as new IP. So
True.
it's hit or miss with new IPs. And I'm gonna be honest, well, it's not bad, but like it did look a lot like Breath of the Wild, but just like a worse Breath of the Wild, in my opinion.
Hmm.
And the
I
story
mean,
also wasn't great, so.
It was a bit like the whole, I would say, the Skyrim comparisons. Whenever you get adventure games back on the PS3 and the Xbox 360 era, everything got compared to Skyrim. Now everything sort of gets compared to Breath of the Wild, or at least has for the last couple of years, because that was the big new major game, and like, especially with adventure games, that really popped off. And you always get these, like, you know, whenever a shooter comes out, oh, it's a Call of Duty clone, or back with PUBG and all of that, you know, where everything was trying to copy it. It's just a trend, isn't it, to follow what's working at the time. And currently, I mean, free to play is the biggest thing, because it's all about getting players on board. When you've got so many games at the moment that are free, when you're looking at, let's just go with the lesser, you know, played ones like Smite included and all of that, Brawlhalla and Rocket League. You've got people there that probably buy a console, or, you know, have an old PS4, because they're going quite cheap now, aren't they? Now that they're down to 200 quid because the next generation's out, and they're not actually paying for games. They're just going, I've got a whole library here that's free, and I'm just going to play that. So it gets people on board, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it broadens the player base, which is obviously why Rocket League also converted to free-to-play, because it probably thought it was like the nearest limit of sales. And of course, Epic Games bought them, and Epic Games is also known for free-to-play games, if you look at Fortnite. And yeah, well, Fortnite is one of the biggest games ever created, and was free-to-play, so, you know, I can see why it looks appealing to them, but it also seems kind of weird, because, you know, Ubisoft is known for releasing 4 to 5 big games each every year. Like, games like Just Dance, obviously, every year. Games like Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, so it's a bit weird to see them going full on free to play. It's only free to play now.
And off the back
Especially
of
because I think
that, I was just going to say, because a lot of the, like, the aspects to the free-to-play genre is more about merchandising and getting brands on board. Like, whenever you look at Fortnite, having Master Chief, having Kratos from God of War in there, and Tomb Raider, that's more what the free-to-play thing is about. It's just getting so many people on board to then sell merch, basically, of different stuff. Take Rocket League. They've just released the F1 pack, where you get a Formula 1 car and then the decal for all the teams in one pack, and it costs an eye-watering amount. It's the standard 2,000 coins, which is like 20 quid. Now, you're not paying anything for the game, but 20 quid is basically a game in itself, and that's a ludicrous amount, when back in the day, I can remember DLCs were like a $5, and now everything's getting just so expensive when it comes to extra content.
Oh, it's even funny because it's the price that Rocket League used to be before it got free to play. 20 was the normal price it used to be back in the day. So, I mean, yeah, you're right. The DLC used to be 10 times cheaper for maybe even, well, maybe not more stuff, but like still, you can still get like 2 cars and like 8 decals per car. And I know right now it's like real life cars, F1, big fans out there. So, of course, it's gonna sell well, but I don't think it's worth 20, and I don't think that for every other DLC they released ever since free to play, because they've all been the same price since then.
I guess,
kill for me.
Like, for me, I can say for myself, like with the F1 stuff, I hate that I know I'm going to buy this, because I like F1 that much. I play Rocket League a lot. I want to be able to use it. I've got the money to spend 20 quid on that, but it feels eye-watering, and at the same time knowing that a lot of people will want this but won't be able to afford it, and it's Psyonix, Epic Games, whatever, knowing that they'll be able to make money from this full stop, instead of like doing it for it's all about money at the end of the day. You know, they're running it as a business. Generally, how this works is Psyonix will take half the profits. You know, half of that 20 quid. That further 10 quid is going to go to Liberty Media, for them to distribute amongst all the teams. You know, part of the profits and that, because I'm saying that's not how it's working, but that's generally how this sort of stuff works. Just to give an example, and it feels like we're on the start of a decline when it comes to DLC having less meaning to it. Like, whenever you get DLC now, new content added, it's normally free, which is good for a lot of people, but it feels lesser than what you used to get in the past. You know, when you would spend a tenner and get a whole new world added to your game, whereas now it's like, oh, they've just added, you know, a new gun or something like that. It's content is getting smaller. Like, whenever you look at, take Warzone for example, it's always the same map. They don't ever really change it. Fortnite changed theirs, like, or they'll change one small area, but it's relatively quite easy to do. It's not a massive amount of effort there. They're just working on the best ways to make money with what they've already got.
I mean, of course, it's not really DLC for those games. It's more like small updates to try and not keep the gameplay as still as it pretty much is, because, you know, if they don't update it enough, then it's gonna be boring. But if you look at DLC, it's either way, like, it's either you have to buy, especially Ubisoft, you buy like a pass, which is like 30 euros more, and then you get all the DLC with it, or you get a free game and you get updates. You have a lot of microtransactions which are pretty much overpriced most of the time. Then again, you know, it's you got a game for free, people are more likely to buy it because the game was free. Or you get some rare occasions where you actually get DLC worth the money. And it seems that the DLC that's worth the money is getting smaller and smaller over the years, because everyone is looking for more ways to make more money. And this whole new free-to-play plan is also working towards making more money for less work, pretty much.
I mean, because I'm generally not the type of person to actually pay for cosmetics in games. I always just count for the actual content, because that to me actually has value. But you two, do you ever like buy cosmetics in game, really? Or
Yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely buy some things, I would say.
well, you talked about
I'm a
the
guy that,
Brawlhalla skins and that. So can you like explain what it like? How you find value in that for me, Buns? Because like, I'm someone that doesn't understand it. That's just not me. I get that it's a thing, but like, could you like, I don't know, where do you find value? Like, what is DLC, and like, what are your thoughts about this then?
Oh, DLC. Oh, I thought.
Or at least transactions in this, like cosmetics and that. Like,
Well,
are you
cosmetics
happy
is- I
with the
mainly-
pricing, or
No,
like,
well, not in every game. Like, if I look at Warzone, it's completely bullshit sometimes. Because you'll pay for a a guy with a a different look, and then maybe one gun with a skin, and you'll pay like 24 for that. And I'll be honest, it's a bit much for like just one skin, you know. But there's also packs. I think they're adjusting a bit on Warzone, because I feel like you get better packages these days. Other games also.
Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, always buy things, you know. It's
Well, I mean, yeah, it depends on,
just-
because if
yeah.
you play the game a lot and you're gonna see it a lot, then I feel like
Yeah,
there's money
I-
for
yeah.
it. you
Yeah,
know, you
that, pretty
can
much
go for
that.
it.
Like, I play the game a lot. I look at it a lot. So, you know, might as well just buy something that looks cool. And yeah, for me, I think cosmetics are always something I buy. I do have to say that I'm also a guy that would legitly buy it for a game that he's played 2 hours.
Yep. So of course, I was online.
But I did play.
Oh, the first time when you
decent
bought the pack.
Yeah,
the
yeah,
first
true,
time
true,
you bought
true,
the
true,
pack,
true.
I was a little bit of money. Second time was fine, because then you actually paid enough to get value out of it.
Yeah, true. But yeah,
Still,
you
it
know,
shows.
it shows. There's always people for it, you know.
so?
Yeah.
One
Like,
thing I've got to ask as well, not only this free-to-play mentality, to take, because you brought up Sea of Thieves, for me personally, I use the Xbox Game Pass quite a lot. I've actually just gone and turned off the PlayStation Now, like the Sony Game Pass, just because I don't think it's worth the money anymore. They're not adding enough to it, but that's a different conversation. But are you worried about with how games are going on to these, you know, pay as a service, that if you buy a transaction, that you might not have that game in, let's say, 6 months' time, and so you've just paid this money on a transaction and you can't even access it anymore?
I'm trying to think, because I don't think I would buy transactions for a game I'm not gonna own, because I know I'm gonna play it for a long time, you know.
Yeah.
So, for example, for me again would be Phoenix Rising, because I got the pass for 4 months. It will be enough for every DLC to release, and I knew after that I'm not gonna play, so I didn't buy anything in that game. Also, got a single player, so I don't see the point of buying cosmetics in single player, because, you know, it's always fun to show off to other people when you're playing multiplayer game. That's why most multiplayer games have a lot of cosmetics. But if I know I'm not gonna play it for a long time, I'm just not gonna buy anything in there, because it's gonna be a temporary game I'm playing. And pretty sure the same applies for Bunny.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla definitely went in the miss with that. Like, they added single player customization skins. I feel like more than 50% of the people who played it on PC just
hacked.
Yeah, they hacked it. No! It was so simple. It was just, you legitimately had to add something, and then you got every DLC, cosmetic that was. So
Yeah.
why bother buying it for a single player game if you can just, you know, have it on there?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't know why I would buy cosmetics for a single player game.
Yeah, single player game is just something I feel like, it doesn't add up.
No, it doesn't make sense, because single player game, you're only there for yourself, and most of the stuff you're gonna unlock through the game, and maybe they release a few cool stuff where you pay money for, but what's the point? Because usually it's also first person, you can't even see the outfit you're wearing. And stuff like, okay, why would I pay €5 for this? Like Rocket League, of course, and CFTs and all the other games makes more sense, because you can kind of flaunt them for other people, and it's cool to have cool stuff. Also, I just want to say that the last match we're going to play today is going to be the battle for main event between Bunny and Marco again. It's going to be a rematch.
Okay.
One point for Bunny and Mario Kart, and we'll get the next point for the main event.
So if I win, is this just confirmed at this, right?
Well, not this one, the last one we play.
No, I know, but like, if I win today, it's just a confirmed main event.
Also, how are you so epic? You have a crab? You have rainbow? What happened to you?
Well, I played this. And of course, what we just said, I like microtransactions. So I definitely spent some money.
Oh man. There you go, dude. I was like, wait, this guy's looking epic, dude. I was like, what? Last time he was looking pretty shit, but now he's looking epic. Because of the epic stuff he bought.
Yeah, I had some, I did an investment on Steam with like CSGO crates when they were really cheap. And people thought they were going to go up. Well, they did go up. And I sold like 10 of them, and then I could buy this. I was like, oh, okay, sick.
Just the crap, like, why not, dude?
He was getting himself ready for Bitcoin. Dude. That's what he was doing.
It is crap.
It was an amazing crap.
It does pretty cool.
To bring it back onto the topic of DLC, there was one interesting thing, and it's not DLC per se, but Nintendo have just announced a new amiibo to go alongside Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, which releases next month. And this thing is quite expensive. $25 for an amiibo is eye-watering, you know. And don't get me wrong, it's going to be a limited edition of that. But the thing which hurts a lot of people, and especially me, even though, like, and it feels weird to say that because I know I'm not going to get this game because I've already got it on the Wii. But
okay.
For a port of a game, not only are they selling this at 60 quid, which is, you know, full price, which normally is, which is like is frowned upon because, you know, it's just re-releasing an old game. But part of like getting this amiibo, the benefit of it is that you get a quality of life benefit in the game. For the Loftwing amiibo, if anyone wants, what it does, if you're on the lower world, as you know, in a dungeon, whatever, you can just tap that onto the Joy-Con and it will teleport you to the hub world instantly, instead of having to go all the way out of the dungeon to a save statue, you can then just do it there and then. And considering this is coming out on launch, it irks me that this could have been part of the game and they're actively choosing to remove it.
Yeah.
Again, it's a little bit like the whole trying to scrape as much money out of a franchise. If anything, it's akin to, you know, overcharging, like, you know, we hate with Sonics on Rocket League decals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, once again, for me, same Rocket League, it just means I'm not gonna buy it. But it just shows that every company, of course, wants to make money, and Nintendo's no exception. So they're gonna do whatever they can to make the most, well, at least trying to afford the most without getting called out too much for it. And this is just another step of their plan, I guess you can say. So yeah, I mean, it sucks, but like I said, I don't know, I'm not gonna buy it just because.
Vote with your wallet. It's that sort of mentality, right?
What? You called out for me?
Just you speak with your wallet. So if you don't like something, just don't buy it. Nintendo will make a loss on that, and then as such, they'll learn, okay, we don't do that.
Yeah, pretty much. Because at the end of the day, like that feature, I don't know how much time it saves, but I don't think it would be worth for anyone to buy a 25 pretty much add-on for the upgraded version. At least I hope not. I hope it doesn't. I hope it's not the same, but I feel like most people would just buy it for the statue itself and not the actual feature. I hope, because then it just seems a bit weird to spend your money on that.
But out of interest, though, because the funny thing I look at this is back in the old days, this would be a thing where it would be bundled together as part of a deluxe edition. Now, deluxe edition would be this amiibo or cosmetic, and no one would have an issue. I don't think if this was just a cosmetic thing, anyone would have an issue with that.
No, of course not. No.
But because it's part of gameplay, which they're actively taking out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you, if this, like, this is already a scummy thing, and it's Nintendo, so you always, like, have this bright, sparkling image of them, because, you know, Nintendo can't do wrong, but it's becoming a weird pattern right now, isn't it? Like, when you've got Mario All-Stars with making that limited edition, taking away, like, you can't play Mario 35 anymore, which is super weird. But when does it get one too many for Nintendo where they start to stop this? Or will they ever stop this? Because they're making money, so who cares, right? They're a business. They're always going to look to make the most profit, even if they do anger some fans. It's only going to be the minority. We're super fans as such because, you know, we love talking about Nintendo stuff. But your average 10-year-old kid who's realistic their demographic doesn't give a toss, do they?
I feel like the thing you talk about, the March 35th anniversary, and any anniversary item, I feel like that's not the same. Because anniversary item is supposed to be there for a limited edition. That's why it's an anniversary limited edition item. So I don't think you can shit on them for that stuff. But I feel like the whole Skyward Sword love thing, which I mean it's also for the anniversary, but it's still that feature is just for the amiibo, and pretty much the only feature as far as I've seen. It just seems only people that actually want the amiibo would buy that, because like I said, I don't see why anyone would ever buy just for that feature. Because how much does it save you? Maybe like a minute or two every time you leave a dungeon. Then again,
yeah, it'll stack up.
Yeah, but then again, you don't know what you missed if you never had it. So if you're not gonna buy it, you're not gonna miss out on too much. I feel like. I don't know what Bunny's opinion is, because he's been quiet. He's been focusing on the game. He wants to practice for later.
No.
You do be sweating this one, yeah.
Listening, dude.
He wants to practice for later.
Nah, I've been listening, dude. But I mean, as Bacon said, it's not that like that extreme, right? So. Of course, you can buy it for as a statue that you just hold on there. But I mean, at the end of the day, it still saves time. And I looked at the gameplay a bit. It does seem to, you know, improve something. I feel like you shouldn't put that behind the paywall.
How is this different to pay to win, right? In a lot of sense in games.
I mean, yeah.
In many multiplayer games, pay to win does not mean you win. It's more you've just got an advantage over everyone else. Now, whilst you're not getting an advantage over someone else in this case, you're still getting an advantage nonetheless, right?
Yeah.
Hey,
again,
of course
like
you're
I
getting
said,
an advantage.
I do think it's not as bad because you said it's not against someone else. So in that case, I don't care as much, but it still seems a bit stupid that it's gonna be banned, amiibo. But that's just my take on it. Like, I feel like as long as it doesn't affect anyone else, like most stuff, I don't really care for it. Like, just let everyone do their own thing. If someone wants to buy it because he wants to buy it for either the statue or the feature, go for it. As long as it doesn't affect anyone else playing the game.
Pretty much.
Get that?
Oh.
But off the back of this, Chew,
Yeah.
if Nintendo's starting to go more of these ways, looking to eke out money if and when,
Yeah.
Splatoon 3 coming up, does it worry you with what DLC could be that? Because the only DLC for Splatoon 2 was the Octopass, which, relatively speaking, whilst it was an expensive expansion as such, had a lot of content, largely single-player content. But does it worry you that they could go the deep, dark roots of microtransactions and try and eke out as much as possible through that?
I don't think so. Especially because, of course, Nintendo has different teams. And Splatoon team is a whole different team than this team working on it right now. And, like, we don't even know if it's a Zelda team working on this remake. Because, as far as we know, the whole Zelda team is working on Breath of the Wild. So this could be just it's an entirely different team. Because I'm pretty sure Nintendo has, like, 12 or 10 different sections of different companies working for them, pretty much. And also their own companies, of course. So, I don't really see Splatoon going that route, but then again, if it happens, I'm not sure if I want to buy the game in the first place because I first have to see gameplay and if I actually am interested enough to buy it again because I want to see how much it differs from Splatoon 2. But yeah, I mean, DLC so far with Nintendo I think it's been pretty fine. If you look at like Splatoon 2 and Mario Kart 8, like there was actually good DLC, like worth your money. But then when you look at anniversary stuff, and then again, I'm not really going to talk about the whole anniversary stuff because I feel like that's justified. It's an anniversary, it's limited edition. That's you're celebrating it, so I don't really know why I would mod about that one. But this whole Skyward Sword amiibo thing with being pay to win, I feel like it's more a one-off than actually have it more often. But you know, we'll see what happens. Maybe we could debate it.
I think so. The reason why the anniversary is just more that it's the only way you can get these games. If they were to announce, you know, the anniversary aspect to it is that you just to continue on the Mario thing. The anniversary aspect of it was that you could only get a physical copy as that free pack with the music included, because the music doesn't affect, because you know you get little soundtracks added on. Then no one would have an issue to it. But the fact that you can't now get a copy of Super Mario Galaxy, Mario Sunshine, Mario 64, because one, they don't print them anymore, even as the All-Stars Anniversary Edition or on their original formats. Yet at the same time, Nintendo is so heavily against emulating. It's no one can win. And Nintendo have made that an issue.
Yeah, but I mean, at the other end, you gotta look at this. Why are people having problems with it now when it has been happening for like 15 years now?
Well, even longer, pretty sure.
Yeah, longer. But like, just to say, like, it has been happening before. Like, you can get mad now, but why didn't you get mad when it happened back then?
The Kirby, the Mario 2D.
There has been, there already has been like several anniversary Mario packages that are no longer available anymore. So it's not like it was something out of the blue. Like they were like, oh, hey, this is something completely new. We're trying something out. No, it has happened before. You could have expected this. That it would happen, you know.
To me, like, of course, the world has changed a lot in a small time. I would say, like in the past 6 years, the world changed a lot. And I also feel like the world's also got more common to being entitled about a lot of stuff. So I feel like this pack released often in the past, like I said, the Kirby pack and Mario pack, and it wasn't an issue ever back then. But now suddenly it's an issue when someone releases like an anniversary pack, and like I don't really get myself why, because you know what you're buying, you know what you're getting. So if you don't feel it's worth your money, then I don't see why you would mod too much about it.
I think it's more that it's the case that Nintendo have the capabilities to keep this going, to upload, for example, to the eShop copies of Super Mario Galaxy or, you know, Sunshine, whatever. Because you take a look, Ocarina of Time was available on the Wii U and all of that, you know, and it's just more the case of they're actively choosing not to do it. They're being anti-consumer. And that's the largest issue there.
I just definitely don't see it as that. Like, it's just an anniversary edition that has, you know, they've done it before. It's just, you know, it's something there. It's something they always did, so.
I mean, like they can do it, of course.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, I would also like if they released like a whole emulation thing on their own console with like Nintendo, what they have done with SNES and NES. Of course, I would like that, but I don't think they're holding it back on purpose. I feel like they don't see a need to do it, and instead they're just waiting for like anniversaries and stuff to release them or remakes, because they know that they actually make some money out of it. And you know, like I'm pretty sure they also see Xbox or PlayStation every time releasing the same games. Every now and then they also like release a pack. Pretty sure there's like a Xbox pack with 10 games in or something. So I feel like, especially now in the new generation of Nintendo, they're also focusing on a lot of new IPs that you've seen in the past few years with ARMS, Splatoon, and possibly more coming in the future, you know, so.
There's also the aspect, of course, with social media these days that it's easier to be spoken and to be heard. Like, maybe you're in your own little chamber, right? But at the same time, take it back to 2010 when the biggest thing was Facebook. And realistically, you were only, you know, hearing the opinions of your friends. You didn't go and follow strangers, for example. But now where we have stuff like Twitter and all of that, and YouTube's become as big as it is, and same with Twitch, where those opinions are now starting to be projected, and maybe that's the difference. Like, you're right, this has always been a thing, but no one's been able to communicate their dislike for it.
I mean, personally, I also think stuff like Twitter in general, like I'm pretty sure we spoke about this earlier in like the COT's podcast, so if you want to hear more about it, then check it out, COT's podcast. But yeah, I'm pretty sure we talk about it, and I still think that this whole new world where you can literally see what anyone's saying at any time, I don't think it's an improvement of the world at all. Because you get to see everyone's opinion, even though they shouldn't matter to you. You're still going to see them, and you're going to see everyone bitching like, hey, yeah, I also want to bitch on this or that. There's also why you see a lot of cancel culture, which is also not, like, it's also bullshit. Like, it shouldn't exist, but it does because the whole world is your city now. It used to be just your town is your city, but now you can see everyone around the world say whatever they want. And I still think that's actually not for the worse and not for the better. Because I don't think you need to see what this person from Australia or America has to say about everything, you know. Like, just
and it's
from your
not
own
really
opinion.
helping that everyone can jump on the bandwagon, you know.
Yeah. I mean,
You don't even have to give a shit about the Mario edition, you know. You can be like,
No.
oh, you know what? Yeah, let's jump on the bandwagon, you know.
Yeah, but that happens a lot. I mean, same with, like I said, cancel culture with what's his name, James Charles. Like a lot of people jumped on without even knowing what was going on, just because it was kind of like a hype, I guess you could say. So then again, like I said, I still feel like it's
People
kind of
just
like
love
a
hating
curse.
people these days.
Oh yeah, I
For
mean,
no
it's fun.
reason.
It's fun to have a bad guy, of course. With everything. That's how the
I
world
will
is.
admit, like, yeah, just projecting hate is a form of venting, isn't it, for a lot of people?
Yeah. It's a close game.
It's hard at the same time because a lot of people want to hear that. Because just take YouTube, for example. You want to hear what this YouTuber has to think because you say like their reviews of, we'll just keep within, well, Nintendo, of controllers, of games. Like, their opinions of games seem to link up with yours, so you sort of begin to trust them in that sort of weird sense. So if their opinions on something else, because they've been right with what you already know, you start to believe them. And that can be a bit of a hard issue because, like, the whole fake news stuff, right, is that you're taking your information from one singular source. And that is the issue, is that people will take someone's opinion and then take that as fact rather than an opinion without looking into things themselves. And I think that's largely the issue there.
I mean, I also think it's important just for your own opinion. Like, you never just follow what someone says 100%. Like, because of course I look at reviews all the time, and I know like it's not always the same people, but sometimes I do want to know what someone thinks. But just because I may like them in some way, I'm not gonna agree with them all the time, because I still have my own opinion. And I don't think that the person's always right, and that's how it should be. There's no one that 100% agrees with you all the time. It doesn't exist.
And so, to not make this a political podcast or anything like that, or
Already happened. You're too late.
Yeah.
CFTs,
Sea of Thieves, Monkeress, Nintendo. Oh my
mind.
god. But just to take a real world thing that's currently happening right now, with all the disputes in Gaza, and we're not going to be talking about that subject or like anything in depth there, but to just use that as an example, because of course what you're hearing in the news is only one opinion or one side of the story. And for me, as soon as I read that, I was like, saw what was going on, I was like, hang on. And then just seeing from Twitter, because I've got some friends out in Israel and giving their opinions, going to Reddit, and it's a very complex issue. And just to make that as a point is that nothing's as straightforward as one opinion, because a lot of different stuff can be complex. And whilst what your opinion or what you're feeling might be correct, yes, that's only affecting you, and something could affect someone else completely differently, couldn't it?
Well, the problem also is because now it's like a worldwide thing, and people that have nothing to do with it are gonna spread facts or opinions on things they probably shouldn't be messing with, because it's not their situation, you know?
Yeah.
Like sometimes just let it rest. The same with getting offended. Sometimes it's not about you. Just let it go sometimes. But it's just, like I said, we live in a generation where you always have to say something about someone or something just because you can. And that I feel like it's like kind of a toxic situation we've been in lately. And probably going to be forever, because it's definitely going to go back to what it was 20 years ago or whatever. So it's just something you have to deliver.
Oh, if anything,
nowadays.
it's getting worse, because it's just going to be much more widespread. And we've got a weird thing, right? Is that our older generation, and still within school right now, I find it funny that you can't use Wikipedia as a source if you're writing, just nothing like a proper professional thing. We're just talking, your GCSEs, your A-levels, your high school stuff, right? When it's absolutely fine to source a website for that, just because Wikipedia is seen as not being trustworthy, because multiple people can edit in that. But realistically, in today's world, that's probably a better thing, because someone can come in and correct it. And because of moderators, right? If it's an opinion, that's going to get taken off, which is just quite funny. And I wonder how in the future, when we've got the generation like us that have always grown up with the internet, or at least since I know for me, I was like 8 years old when the internet became widespread and a common thing to use. And I know you guys are a little bit younger, but then take, even younger kids that are currently only 10, where they have always had the internet there. And you know how there's always the jokes of you'll see a 5-year-old with an iPhone these days and all of that, right? So where do the lines get crossed there? Like how do they think about stuff in 10 years time, because right now, when you think about the news and everything like that, it's generally aimed at an older audience. We're not the target demographic, because we're not what's getting largely the consumers of it. When you're looking at more official sources like, I don't know, BBC, CNN. Unfortunately, I don't know any Dutch news outlets, so like off the top of my head.
Yeah. NOS, there you go.
Okay. But you get what I'm saying. Like, they're not aimed at us really, because we'll go elsewhere to look at stuff, and you really go look at news to somewhere that aligns with your views, don't you?
Well, even then, I feel like you're gonna see it anyways, like when you go to social media, because you're not safe from any opinion on social media. So even if you're just looking at memes, you're still gonna see some news about something going on in the world. At least in my experience, I always see some news when I'm just trying to look at some memes and just get something serious, and they're like, oh, okay. It's kind of random. And then sometimes I even know before my dad saw it in the news. So like, it's probably even more effective. And then again, I also don't know how much of it is true when you look at some of those news outlets that you see on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter.
I always find it bewildering. I don't know about you guys, but whenever you see like American news articles and it's like all meant to be shock value and like blam, blam, blam in your face, that sort of thing, you know, and you're just like,
The
why? Why would you?
Intro.
How can you even take this seriously? And actually, for one of the big things to me recently, because I was curious last night, right? You know, the European Super League has sort of like gone quiet. And it's, for me, I was like weirdly wondering, like, how has this just faded into nothing? Why is this not, you know, getting reported on anymore? Because, you know, it's not a hot topic. But
it's not happening.
Yeah, well,
Fully cancelled. Oh.
they've still said it will go forward, but the conversations have stopped because, you know, they're going to be going to their lawyers and like they don't have anything to talk about. They want this to go quiet, realistically, because that's better for them. You know, why publicize something bad? Because they've already been shot down massively, so they've got to go away and, you know, work on the PR and all of that. But anyway, seeing some like American, and you know, it's not just an American view. I'm just saying, like, the podcaster himself doing this, and it was coming from a place where he didn't really know the topic and had an expert on with him to explain it. But he was going for that point of where he's coming in from the outside, seeing, you know, Chelsea going up against Real Madrid sounds awesome from an outside perspective, even though, you know, the Super League is incredibly bad and goes against everything within sport. But it's just different perspectives and different culture as well, because when you look over towards American sports, they're all franchised, so they don't have that same ingrained local culture and part of identity that European football has. So it was just very interesting to see how you can be influenced from what you already know and then look at an outside source technically incorrectly. It's not incorrect, because it would be cool to see, again, Real Madrid go up against Chelsea twice a season or whatever, but it's wrong for different reasons and makes it uncool for those reasons, you know?
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, I feel like I don't want to go too much into it because you've been trying to ignore it, but I know where you're coming from, and well, it does sound cool. It also, like, I don't want to go too much into it, but it just seems a bit more undeserved for them to stay in there, pretty much.
Oh,
but
yeah.
that's all I'm gonna say about it, because maybe some angry boys watching.
Oh, yeah, that's the point. It gets rid of the whole point of competition within football. That's why it's bad. But it's good to understand where the thought process is coming from, why it might be a thing. That's how I generally look at, again, with news and everything, is it's better to understand the opposition to be able to not only formulate your thought process and to see the different angles, but also to try and like understand how to communicate why you don't think that way or why it's wrong. And that's an area I think that gets glossed over quite a lot.
Yeah, well, I think social media has its good and bad things, because of course sometimes when the more works together, some good things happen. But I feel like majority of the time it just falsely getting accused of something, or people just for no reason attacking someone because it's hype right now. So I think there has to be some monitoring, which is impossible, of course, but it's a wild state, social media.
Yeah. Well, at the same time, you don't want it monitored, because then you're moderating opinions, which is not a good thing. Yeah. It's a tightrope, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I mean, like I said, it's probably too far done anyways. It just seems, I don't know. It seems like a weird position to be in right now. I don't know if Bunny's anything to add. He's been still trying. He's just waiting for the last round. He's like,
no.
I need to get good for the last round. I need to become to main event.
That's all juicy topics, so I like to keep it quiet.
Oh, but I thought you were part of the podcast, so why aren't you talking? Huh?
Yeah, of course. True.
Talk some. Come on, man.
Hello.
Because we all know you also have opinions, and I don't know why you're scared of them, because you're not an influencer anyway. So I don't know why you're scared of anything.
No.
Yeah.
It's just I always keep things for myself.
Everything. Oh, okay.
Well, a lot of political things, things like that. I always keep for myself. Don't have to put it out there.
I scare for judgmental people for the
of course not.
cancellations. Oh.
Of course not, but it's just like, why do you have to share everything in a world where everything is already being shared?
Where's Bacon going, by the way?
Yeah, I
He
just
found
realised I
it.
was going to a different map. Yeah,
He found that.
Let-
He went to the right course.
but that's like not a bad opinion to have there, Bunny. Where just keep it to yourself. Like,
Yeah,
you don't need
don't
to
have to put
project
it out there, right?
Yeah, and I think a lot of people could learn from that as such.
Not everything has to be shared. To all the Twitter people. Because like I'm pretty sure, at least when I listen to a lot of influencers, they're always shitting on Twitter for like the biggest platform.
Mm-hmm.
So like I would think Twitter was like the biggest source of those stuff, but then again, I'm learning myself a lot only for gaming related stuff. So
And it's funny because just to take again, a lot of people say shit on YouTube or Twitch, right? And YouTube's one that's interesting for me because so many people make a living out of YouTube. It's such a big platform for content, and it can show how people get angry when they're passionate about something or when it truly affects them. Because, like, right now, I'm having a bug with YouTube where every other video just does not want to load, and then I've got to go out, reload the page, whatever, and it's just getting really annoying. But am I going to take, like, go use a different service? No, because the content I want to watch is on YouTube. And I'm getting frustrated here and only going to continue the frustration because it's where I want to be, right? It's like when you get angry at a game because you can't complete a level or you keep getting, shat on in Call of Duty. You're just like getting angrier and angrier, aren't you?
I feel like
Understand.
what your problem with YouTube is, though, there's not a lot of other platforms to go on, though. So
True. There's not other options.
Vimeo, yeah, I mean,
Vimeo.
you're
I
gonna
go
see a
to
lot of,
TikTok now. That's it.
Ooh. Also from a news source.
Ooh. I downloaded TikTok, by the way, boys. I
Oh.
actually got around because, again, I was like, you know what? I've only ever seen TikToks as when they're uploaded to YouTube as, like, I guess compilations or whatever.
he watches the compilations. He likes them.
No, but just because,
Even I
like,
don't use it.
because I had to research this. Part of my job is to not only for the podcast, but forecast and all of that within Rocket League to try and keep up and understand it all. I just don't get why people like it. TikTok content is crap. It's so low. I get it. It's low budget. It's easy to make, but when I'm grown up or I'm feeling like a boomer, yes, because where I've got so used to the quality of, say, YouTube videos and the amount of effort people put into that, when it's all just people lip syncing or dancing, that's not content that I care about. When it's people trying to, I don't know, put little gaming clips where it's on that phone size, it's horrid. Yeah, it's just not good content. I don't get it.
I mean, there are people who put effort into the TikToks. Like, you can't just say the entirety of TikTok is no effort. Of course, there's a big
True.
part of it,
I'm making
but,
a sweeping statement. You're right.
Yeah, I tell you, man.
Yeah, man.
I mean, it's even shit content on YouTube, isn't there? But
Yeah.
like I said, I also don't care for TikTok, so. I mean, I feel the same as with you when you were talking about the new Rocket League mobile game. Is you would just use it to go on the toilet. I think a lot of people do the same with TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
They go do something small, go to the toilet, whatever. Then you look at TikTok in the meantime to do something when they're like, maybe traveling, whatever. I don't know. So I don't know how many people are actually looking at it a lot when I'm not shitting, but I'm probably gonna be surprised if I know how many people actually look at it.
Everybody
Barney?
poops.
Question mark?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you look at TikTok a lot, even outside of
Yeah.
pooping?
Yeah.
Oh, is this your main?
Daily.
So
Is
what
your
is
main
the
source of
draw to
entertainment?
TikTok for you? Because I'm not saying like I'm saying TikTok for me is bad, but
Gotta laugh.
clearly people enjoy it, right? So
Yeah.
that don't make it bad. It's the same with like people shit on Fortnite. Fortnite's a good game because clearly a lot of people play it and people enjoy it. So it's
Also,
not
no
a bad
opinion,
game.
of course.
But so what is it about TikTok that is appealing to you, Bunny?
Just get a laugh. There's enough on there to tune in out.
And
to,
hot girls, of course. Don't forget
Hot girls. Don't forget the hot girls. Also very main part. But there's also enough content to just, left, it's just stupid people. It's like Vine all over again. Vine was
Good
always
people.
fun, so. Yeah, that's it.
I found people put more effort into Vines though than TikTok.
I doubt that though.
Yeah, I'm doubting that. That is, that's a big statement you're making there.
I mean, I feel back on because he said
He just joined. He's on
Yeah.
there for like a week.
I haven't got to the good
hasn't seen-
content. I haven't found good creators yet. That's it.
I mean,
right?
of course, you're on there for like a week, so it's still adjusting to your to what you
Algorithm.
like.
Fair enough. I'll go away and I'll come back next week with like a TikTok update. That's what we'll do.
Oh man.
So this sound good. Sound good.
Bunny, you can
review.
send me a couple of like recommendations, okay?
Well, definitely not, because you're definitely not gonna like.
He doesn't want me to know. It's like hiding his internet history. That's what he's doing.
Yeah, the hot girls, dude. Of course. The only thing I'm gonna
Yeah, I
send you.
mean, yeah, I was about to say, I'm only gonna send you hot girls.
So-
he likes to call it lemons and cake, right? That's what you like to call it back in the day with newbie. Yeah, you do, dude. Yeah, I remember, dude.
Melons and
Yeah,
cake.
lemons and cake.
Peaches.
Yeah, also,
Pretty much everyone calls them like that.
no eggplant. No.
No, I
Okay.
don't really look at the eggplant. No, I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Okay. I'm just wondering.
It's not really my
No,
cup of tea.
Okay. I'm just wondering.
Confused right now.
Pretty much the.
I get the
same,
idea.
yeah.
I figured it.
Would you
it
like me to
clicked.
explain?
for the listeners and viewers at home?
All right, peaches is the arse. All right.
Oh man? Question mark?
No.
Oh,
We're
okay.
talking about
That's
female.
that's old
It's the
Can
school.
be,
same
man.
with cake. It's the same with cake. Cake is also
Just ass.
arse. But that
Oh, okay.
that could actually be from a man or a female. Could be both ways. What else we got? We got
That's both
the
ways.
eggplant. Well,
Mm-hmm.
can you? I'll let you guess. What do you think the eggplant is, Bacon?
Oh, yeah, right. The airplant emoji. Right, I got you now. Yep.
Yeah.
Any guess?
Mhm.
Can you explain?
Except for the viewers, hello?
Hello. No. Okay. It's a dick. Everyone.
wiener.
Yeah, I knew that. I was just like, how do you say penis on a podcast? I mean, we're not like,
Well, you
safe.
just
Like
said
whenever
it,
you look.
so-
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of
That
an
helps.
eloquent way. You know?
Wiener, there you go.
A dick. What else we got? Melons.
Dick is actually a normal word. A normal name.
Yeah,
now.
it's just
called dick.
completely normal. Yeah.
It's a
So
normal
we
name.
got melons. Can you guess the melons?
Oh, Bob's
Yeah.
Oh, vagana? Any veganas?
veganas.
Um,
This podcast
cat.
has taken a weird turn
cat.
today, I've got to say.
I guess we could say cat.
Dude, this is the Kappa Club podcast after hours. Oh, 3.7 Bakko won this round. I hate to see it. Unless... he
Yep,
beans
got
it up.
one last one, I think, don't we?
Well, this is the last one, actually. And then we can probably do the legendary round. See who
Ooh.
gets... between you two gets
Haven't
the...
I won two already?
event.
Thank you.
No, I won the first one. Hold up.
And then I won the next two. This is our first. No, I've only won one. Right.
Yeah, calm
I
down,
got
dude.
you.
Calm
I
down.
got you. No,
This guy trying to yoink to victories for me. Okay.
don't worry. This will be the second one.
Oh. Unless you pin it up. Oh. You
Even
didn't.
this. But
There you go.
talking
That's
about the main event,
Ooh.
E3
Yeah.
coming up might not just be the main event, boys, because
I
we
think it
have
will, though.
got contestants and competition. Summer Game Fest is going to be starting June the 10th, just ahead of the June the 12th E3 date. Now, E3 didn't happen last year. That got, cancelled due to Corona. Summer Game Fest was the new hot thing. This year, I'm quite excited because, we've got some mixing up in how these companies want to display their games. Like, we know Sony is not going to be at E3, but it will be part of the Summer Game Fest, as well as having their own state of play. And then Nintendo look to be having... I I didn't put this in the thing, but there looks to be some sort of Pokemon Direct coming up next month, apparently.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Alongside them being involved at E3. So, you know, it's interesting to see, like, the connections here going on.
Well, I'm going to give my opinion straight away, dude. I don't think Summer Game Fest is going to be that big of competition.
You don't
Simply
think?
because, no, simply because it's going to be spread out over like a month time. Because, you didn't say it, but it's going to be in 4 parts. And I feel like the most viewed parts are going to be part 1 and 2, because one is going to be 2 days before E3, and the other one's going to be 1 day after E3. So it feels like it's part of E3, but the other 2, I think pretty sure one is somewhere in July, dude. So it's like, okay, that's a bit late. And it's also like the problem last year with Summer Game Fest, like it was too spread out, so it didn't really feel like an event where we got like E3. That feels like an actual kind of gamer holiday. You know what I mean? You're sitting around the streams with the boys, watching your favorite content creator at 3 a.m. That's just me. That's my opinion.
Funny? Are you
Yeah, no,
hyped for one or the other, or?
Yeah, well, E3, yeah. I don't really think the other one is going to be a big, you know, a big event. Of course, it's going to be fun, but
Well, hopefully we're gonna get some epic announcements.
yeah,
That would be epic, but
it would be lit.
Like,
but you know, don't get your.
Yeah, I don't even remember any big announcements from last Summer Game Fest, because to be honest, I didn't even really this actually happened, because it was supposed to put out, and it seems that they're kind of making it a bit smaller, but still, 4 parts in like a month time, it seems a bit too spread out. Like I don't know why they're doing it, but they're doing it. That's the way they want to do it.
Well, to me, it makes sense because it feels more like they're giving developers a little bit more like airtime, for example. So the problem with E3 was always you're getting so many different announcements at the same time, which a lot of people will find cool. But when you're having a developer, you can quite often get overshadowed by another announcement. So spread them out across 4 different events with a bit of breathing room between them works quite well to say, I know Konami doesn't want to get overshadowed by Capcom's announcement of whatever they're putting out there. So to me, that it seems like a good formula.
I don't know, because a lot of same with like Game Awards, it just goes on for way too long, and the same might happen with Summer Game Pass when they give more time to these like the developers. Because as a consumer, you don't want to stare at the same game for 5 to 10 minutes. You just want to
we
see.
just want a
you-
fast trailer, you know, that gives us hype.
Yeah, exactly. So as a consumer, I don't really see how it's gonna be better. But maybe as a developer, but then again, it's not about the developer really. It's about selling your product, is it? So, like, it might not even benefit the developer itself at the end of the day, because it's gonna have less views and people might lose interest when it's taking on for too long. Because I remember with Ratchet and Clank, for a lot of people, it was like they did like a poll in the stream, and before they did like, "Are you hyped for this game?" And then they asked yes, and then they kept showing it, and it actually people lost hype. Yeah, because it was taking over very long. Like it took like 50 minutes. People were hoping, even though they said it beforehand, hope other announcements, but it never happened. So, like, it could actually be bad for the developers at the end of the day. We'll see though. We'll see. I just don't think it's gonna beat E3. I think E3 is a bit a top dog, especially so many companies coming back. So I'm also, like I said, more E3 guy. But it feels like a holiday. Staying up late, watching the announcements, being hyped for Mario Kart 9. Oh, Mario Kart 9, you say?
I mean, yeah, you boy up to. Another topic of conversation, all the leaks, buddy. All those very tasty leaks coming on out. And, I mean, we talked about this a couple of weeks back where when Mario Kart 8 became, like, the best-selling game on the Switch, outdoing, what was it, 28 million copies, which is nuts.
I think it's 38, actually, but I might be wrong.
I think it's 28, but, you know, it could be either. Yeah, look it up right now if you don't mind. But Mario Kart 9, I can remember when, we were talking about it, you made the point of, well, why? Just straight up, because they're already selling copies of Mario Kart 8, why go do a Mario Kart 9? But apparently, You know, because it's
Wait.
been a while. They haven't put out a Mario Kart game. Like Mario Kart 8 was developed ages ago, right? It was back on the Wii U, 2014. I want to say it was released, just off the top of my head. So
Sure,
the
I
game's
didn't say
7
why.
years old.
I'm pretty sure I was all for it releasing again, if I remember correctly, because I always felt like that was just a stupid argument, saying it sold well.
Hmm.
Because literally any other game, just because it sells doesn't mean they're not gonna release another one. They just want more money. So I don't know, maybe you got it wrong, but I don't think it was me who said that.
I'm pretty sure it
Because
was. Or you didn't expect there to be. Sorry, you didn't expect there to be a Mario Kart this year or next. The thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, actually, I don't know again, dude, because I did a lot of research, and because I'm a Mario Kart advocate, dude. I like Mario Kart, so I actually did some research on like how long it would take for a new Mario Kart, and it's always been like 3 years.
Mm.
Like,
So we're
mostly
in the
so.
longest stint right now. Like I said, I
Well,
don't count the
yeah.
Lux because
Yeah, but they do probably. So
maybe.
and good news because it's also been 3 years ago, so even for them it's time to release a new one. And unless they also count Mario Kart Tour, which would be bad. Which means
Yeah,
another 3
don't
years.
count that.
But
Mario
the
Kart
leaks,
Tour
dude.
is not a bad game at all, you know. Like, it's not proper Mario Kart, is it?
Yeah. Even though it's still fun, it's not the same.
It was weird as well because they always counted, like when you're talking about those release dates, they always counted the handheld games in the same light. They always did, you know, home console, handheld, like in a little rotation. It was always really unique, weren't it?
Yeah. Well, hopefully the leaks are true. I'm gonna get Mario Kart 9. It might not be announced at E3, but they did say it's gonna release the end of this year or early next year. So either way, it's gonna be released soon, and I'm hyped. Good Mario Kart game. It's been a while.
What would you like to see in
Let's
Mario
see.
Kart 9? Like, what addition?
Well, obviously new maps, of course. I would also like an in-game store for in-game coins, so not real money. So coins have a more of a actual value to it, with character skins, and just any item like cars, whatever. Just you have like, I don't know, a lot more customizable options, and there's a lot more to work towards. But especially Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, you unlock every character already. All you have to do is unlock cards by getting money. Even though in older iterations you have to do like challenges to earn them.
So continuous content then. Put that
Yeah.
as.
Oh, that'll
Yes.
be even better, dude. Like Splatoon, when they release a new map every month with 2 characters, that'll be even better. But that's not gonna happen probably.
So, yeah, because for me, I couldn't see them just releasing a new map, but I could see them doing new trophies, and again, that would be part of like regular DLC as such. And then the clothing, whatever, like your characters and Tanuki Mario, whatever, or whatever different skins, like you said, they want to put on. That's the paid part. That would make sense. That'd be a good little business model for Nintendo, wouldn't it?
I don't know, dude. It's kind of convincing me if you have to pay for skins. I just hope it's gonna be free, the skins.
Yeah, I just want to unlock them with gameplay, you know? Would be
Yeah, either gameplay or like in-game store where you collect like money. It's also.
Oh, I'm saying like
worth
for
it.
continuous content. Like, agreed. I don't want the Mario Kart 8 style where you just get a random item after every like 50 coins, weren't it? I'd much rather just get those coins and be able to select what I want.
Yeah, exactly, dude. The good gameplay. Well, pretty much, I'm hoping they copy Crash Team Racing. That's the thing I should have said. Copy Crash Team Racing. And like, it's not like they can't do it, because they proved with Mario Tennis Aces and with Splatoon that they can easily do updates over time. So, just hopefully they need to do it. But that all depends on the sales, I guess. Or
It will.
It's
And
th- or it's
so-
the reason it boosts sales, maybe. Maybe that's the reason how it's going to boost the sales for the new game. By having regular updates.
do you think we're going to
People
get
keep
another
playing it.
Crash Team Racing? I've got to ask that because
No,
I
no,
wasn't
no,
a
no.
fan of or I'm fine with Crash Team Racing, but it doesn't. Mario Kart's better. That's all I'm going to say for me personally. So
I don't think there will be no Crash Team Racing. Just because this one released too soon and it's already the ultimate Crash Team Racing game anyway. So I don't see them releasing one. Especially, I think it released like a year or two ago. So even the time window is bad. And like I said, they did a year of updates with new characters, tracks, everything. So no, I don't think Crash Team Racing will happen for a long time. And the only reason you hate it is because you're better at the game, by the way. But you could.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
well,
it's true.
No, you're
true,
not wrong.
because-
It was not easily accessible. I was trying to
Yeah.
I was playing it. I was okay, is all I'm going to say, but I can imagine it just is not accessible. Because when I think of kart racing games anyway, you've got to be able to play it if you're 5 or 80. You know, that's what makes Mario games.
Yeah.
And like, you know, Mario Party and that magical. Crash Team Racing didn't have that. That was
No.
a technical game, which is good in its own sense, but it doesn't
Yeah, exactly.
hit the scratch. If I want to get technical with a racing game, I'm going to put the steering wheel in, and I'm going to do, you know, R Factor or Project Cars or Assetto Corsa. You know, I'm not going to play Crash Team Racing.
Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong. Because Crash Team Racing is a lot more competitive when I played it. Like a lot more. Especially because I had like a certain rank section as well. Where you, if you got, I think, top 5%, you got like a special car with decal every season. So even added more to it to actually get the dubs. I mean, for that reason, it was also like a good game because Mario Kart is more for the memes. Crash Team Racing would be for serious gameplay, getting them dubs, raking them in, you know. And did a lot of things better than Mario Kart in my opinion.
Like,
Like the story mode was fun to have. Like it wasn't that big, but still, it was fun to have.
that's
said-
got to be my biggest like
Yeah.
request for Mario Kart 9 is the story mode. I'll admit that.
I mean, every other game has it anyway. So like all the other sports game have it. Like I said, the whole store. But like you could pay for it if you want to, but you can also earn it by just playing the game. So that's always a good thing in my book. Where you can give people the option. Also doesn't change the gameplay because it's an update where everyone is the same speed. Because you can pretty much decide which speed you want, which type you want, so you can play any character. And of course the monthly, well not anymore, but the monthly updates always kept it fresh. To come back to it and try out new challenges and new tracks and characters and stuff.
So, how would you feel if Mario Kart 9 followed the same as Mario Tennis Aces and what we're expecting of this Mario Golf game? Like, where it's just the first year is free updates, and then after that, it just dies off. Nintendo just, I don't want to say
That's fine.
gives up, but it just doesn't, you know, it's already done the content.
I think it's totally fine. As long as you don't like cut off all of the characters beforehand, then I think it's fine. But because if you're gonna be there and you have a roster of 20 characters when we had like 50 in the latest one, that just seems stupid. But I wouldn't mind if they already had like 50 characters and then they just added a few ones over time. I think that's fine. For a year as well. Like a year is plenty of time.
I think that's the issue as well, because Mario Kart 8 Deluxe felt a little bit like Smash Brothers in the fact that it was the definitive game, didn't it?
Yeah. Exactly.
And otherwise you're going to be stepping back, and that's not good. They've already made like, I don't want to say the masterpiece, but 8 was the best Mario Kart game ever made. I don't think anyone's really going to deny that.
Well, maybe
You might
maybe
enjoy
fans.
some of the others, yeah, but
Oh, Barney something in the back, dude. No main event. Let's get back to Baco. What has he
like
done?
Mario Kart Wii was great because it was moddable. You don't get that with the Switch. I mean, you do get some modding with the Switch. Like, have you seen ROM hacks in that for Mario? I was about to say
Mario?
Galaxy.
Odyssey.
Odyssey. Thank you.
Back on one.
Wow.
But
At
Barney
least I
has the
got the
funny
funny
number.
number.
Yeah.
Funny
he's
number, dude.
and I have the Nintendo 64. This is perfect, dude.
Who's the real winner here, dude?
What do the numbers mean, Mason? Okay, right. I think on that bombshell, we can. It ain't gonna get better than that.
No, this is close round, dude. Close round.
It was indeed. We'll have to come back with some more miniature golf at some point. I think we got some more party games in the books, don't we? Some Ultimate Chicken Horse, Move or Die, Gang Beast, maybe?
Gang
We'll
is
see.
only one. It's gonna be chaotic, dude.
Oh, man. Maybe some
I
pummel
feel like that's,
pie?
dangerous.
Oh, Power
Oh,
Party.
okay. Well, that's
Or-
just completely dangerous.
Or Mario Party 2, if it's out. Who knows? We'll see.
If Super Mario
E3.
Party 2 comes out, if it's announced at E3, we will get that. Because that will be great fun. But, unfortunately, boys, no more fun. We need to close up the bar. Everyone's sort of heading on home. It's getting a little bit of a ghost town in here. So I would like to thank everyone at home for tuning on in. You two, of course, beside me, or I say beside me, she's beside me behind the bar. And Bunny's plugging something
sweating.
in behind that. Yeah,
He's
sweating.
dancing. He finished the
he's
machine.
dancing.
I am
He's
sweating.
He's showing the robot how to actually dance. That's it.
That man's
the
gonna
moves.
take over.
Oh, I
Can't
am
wait.
terrified.
I can't wait.
But until next week, guys, make sure to head on over to Twitter at Kappa Club Cast. Of course, over on YouTube as well, Kappa Club Podcast. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Anywhere you want to grab it, make sure
and
to
Facebook.
go look it on our Facebook and Instagram as well.
Don't forget.
Ah,
TikTok maybe, if Bonnie ever uploads something there. We'll
Yeah,
see.
I know, right?
after the robot, that's your next thing, ain't it, Bunny?
Yeah, definitely.
I'm worried about what we're going to see him do next week too. But you guys will have to tune in next Tuesday from 11 a.m. BST, midday CEST is, of course, whenever we upload these new podcasts. But until then, stay safe. We'll see you soon.
Bye. Goodbye.
Y la lichua.